Hi, this is Dave and Mary with Front Porch Ideas and More.com. We're often asked what makes a beautiful front porch design. Underneath, porches are very much the same. Foundations, roof, rafters, supports, flooring. What differentiates, though, an aesthetically pleasing porch from an ordinary porch? The perfect porch needs to be architecturally compatible with the home, has to be functional, and needs to have lots of appeal. So for the next few minutes, Mary and I are going to offer our ideas for creating the perfect front porch design. First, let's look at a few beautifully designed porches. A beautiful front porch design is truly greater than the sum of its parts. Each component is integral to the overall porch design and appeal. Let's explore three of the more significant porch components to see how they can affect your overall design. Porch railings, or balustrades, range from the very simple to very elaborate geometric designs, which means you can change the look of your porch dramatically. Even if your porch does not require them by code, sometimes adding railings can give your porch added curb appeal. Here are a few examples of stylish porch railings that enhance the overall porch design. Although this appears as a more traditional look, it has its own elegance. Notice the top rail is painted in a trim color, which makes the balustrade stand out. This pattern is definitely eye-catching. The geometric design softens the look and breaks up the horizontal brick pattern of the home. Now here's a variation from the previous porch photo. This incorporates a geometric design with traditional vertical balusters to create a unique and charming look. I also wanted to show you how color can be used to create a whole new look as well. The top rail and balusters are painted complementary colors. This definitely adds some pizzazz to this porch. We haven't even touched the surface of porch railings. Don't forget that choosing different materials also affects the overall design of your porch. Turned balusters, glass panels, wrought iron, steel cable, aluminum, sawn wood, lattice panels, and even knee walls are all different options for which you can choose. Changing your railings changes your porch design. Hey, now that we did porch railings and you've got some examples of different styles of railings and how they affect the design of your overall porch, let's talk a little bit about columns. They do more than just support the roof. They also add a lot of aesthetic appeal to your porch, and because they come in such a variety of materials and styles, when you're designing your front porch design, when you have your front porch design, you want to make sure you consider a few things about them. All right, let's take a look at this a little bit closer. On this particular porch, it's not really wide. This is about 6 feet wide, and it's a nice space. Of course, being porch lovers, we'd like to have a wider porch, but this is very nice. But here's what happens a lot of times in porch designs. They make it very attractive from the outside and add these, and in this case, these are brick pedestals for the vinyl porch columns. And what happens though is when you add extra columns in here, is you really limit your view. If I'm sitting here in a chair, I can't see past this column. So these columns take up a lot of space, not only the floor space, but the visual space. So when you're designing your porch, try to take that into consideration of what you want. You want more privacy, more posed, wider pedestals, or would you like to be able to have a more open porch, which will show you the same porch in a different style here in just a second. This happens to be a wraparound porch. As you can see, this is a small wraparound. It's very nice, but again, this extra column kind of gets in the way of placing furniture and of just being able to see. Continuing on with a discussion about porch columns, let's take a look at just a couple of different styles here real quick to show you how it changes the overall appearance of your porch. This porch happens to have brick pedestals with vinyl supporting columns, and as you can see, it also has an added attraction of exterior house trim of the brackets on the columns, which is a nice touch. Conversely, if you look over at this house, and we'll show you here just a second, this house, the porch is the same. It's not a wraparound, but it's the same 6-foot depth on the front. And this porch has craftsman style columns with brick pedestals. It gives it a little bit different flair. Well, let's move on to roof designs. which is very important to a porch. And here's a good examples of two different styles that are similar, but they have a different effect on the overall appeal of your porch. This one happens to have a gable over the front door and a shed roof for the remainder of the porch. Looks very nice, attractive, and warm and welcoming. And just as this one, the same, this porch has a gable, but not over the front door, it has it over the center of the porch. So just to give it a little bit different look. And this one happens to have vinyl shakes at the top of the gable. Talk about different styles of columns themselves. We talk about the vinyl supporting columns, which we had shown you earlier. Here's an example of stone columns over a porch, which looks really attractive. And they have what Mary and I like to call a patio porch extensions. So they have a little extension off to the side of their small porch. It's a great idea. If you have a small porch, you usually can incorporate a patio next to it for extra seating and entertaining. All right, this one is a good example of column spacing, and that's something that you need to consider when you're doing your front porch design. Normally, what is used is you want your columns spaced equal distance based on the width of your steps. So this is kind of a good example of that. They have a wide steps to the front porch and the columns on each end. And that's a very good example of that kind of column placement. So the last porch we want to show you is the one that Mary and I had built on our new home. And in particular, the porch columns. And what we were able to do with this porch is we removed the additional columns that we've shown you earlier that a lot of folks have on their porches. We removed those to open up and make it a more expansive looking porch. Not only does it give us a little bit more space, but visually gives us a lot more space for that. Now, the only way you can do this is to make sure that you have a beam that can support the roof over that expanse between the two columns, or in this case, the porch is built with trusses, so it makes it a little bit easier to do. The other thing you have to take note of on this porch, we're less than 36 inches off the ground, and therefore we don't need additional porch railings. If you don't need porch railings, then obviously you don't need the column in between. Otherwise, we'd have to probably install that column. So if you can do that, it's something to think about in your porch design, depending on the elevation of your porch itself. The other thing we wanted to show you on our porch is our porch steps. This is another component of your porch design that you really should take considerable care of. Many people kind of overlook this step, but no pun intended there. But in reality, a nice porch steps leading up to your home can make a huge difference. So I hope this has been helpful. We've talked about several different components: railings, porch steps, roof designs, columns. Those are just a few of the many components of a porch that you need to consider. There's also porch flooring, your porch ceiling, lighting, so many other things. So if you go to porchideas.com, you'll find just a myriad of information about how to design and photos and information you can use to design your own front porch, to create your perfect porch. This is Dave with Front Porch Ideas and More. See you on the porch.